I've been warning the effects of unregulated mass migration for years. But in light of Jamal Bowman, a Democratic congressman wanting to bring 1 million Palestinian refugees here, I'd like to take this moment to remind you of history. You know, that thing that liberals don't do. When America was booming from immigration back at like the turn of the 1900s, people came from all over the world. We were known as the Great American Melting Pot because people brought the best their cultures had and left the things that they were trying to get away with behind. This is not the case anymore. We're not facing those circumstances today. I always say that Europe is a few years ahead of us as far as culture and governance and all that stuff. And I know England left the EU, but you're still part of Europe. This past weekend, folks, 100,000 people took to the streets in London to support Palestine, screaming things like freedom for Palestine and stop bombing Gaza. The protests were largely peaceful, a couple of arrests were made, but still 100,000 people turned out to support terrorists, period, full stop. Now, Joe Biden, of course, tweeted this out the other day. Let me make myself clear. The vast majority of Palestinians are not Hamas, and Hamas does not represent the people of Palestine. No, you houseplant in chief, they actually do, literally. In 2006, in a 7-way political race, you can see right there, Hamas won the majority of seats in their governing body, 74 of the 132 seats. They got more power after their civil war the next year, too. They were elected by the people of Gaza as a Muslim fundamentalist group that branched from the Muslim Brotherhood. They then obviously took more control. Like I say it all the time, elections have consequences, and when they do, people are surprised by it. Hamas is listed as a terrorist organization by the U.S., in fact, also by Japan, the U.K., the EU, Australia, even Canada. Canada likes everyone, except for them. Obviously, Israel lists Hamas as the governing body of Gaza as terrorists as well, because they just rocketed them. But up until 2017, it was in Hamas's charter, the governing body of Gaza, to destroy Israel. And the guy running our country doesn't seem to understand this. Alyssa Milano is in the same boat. And I'm tired of us talking about, oh, we need to de-escalate, we need ceasefire, whatever. Sounds great, but what does Israel get in exchange? Remember, they didn't start this. What do they get? Peace? Until when? What guarantees do they have? I'm so sick and tired about all this talk about a ceasefire. That's like punching the biggest guy on the playground, curling up in a ball and screaming, oh, truce, because you're about to get beat down. That's not how it works. If they wanted peace, they shouldn't have sent hang gliders in to shoot people at a music festival. Of course Hamas wants a ceasefire now. They killed thousands, and now Israel is pounding them. You can call for a ceasefire now. Hamas will just do it again. And like 100,000 people in the UK just rallied in support of this. And thousands more in America, by the way. On Friday night, right in front of this studio, the street outside was shut down for a pro-Palestinian protest. And then over the bridge in Brooklyn this weekend, thousands more flooded the streets. 150 of them were arrested, by the way. One protester, Jeremy Cohen, and this is great, he's also a co-chair of the New York City Democratic Socialists of America. They had this to say, quote, unfortunately, our political leaders seem to keep failing to learn the lesson again and again that war is not the answer. Maybe that guy doesn't learn the lesson, because it wasn't war until Hamas launched thousands of rockets at civilian targets. But this is twofold. One, this is an epic failure of our education system. I mean, it really is. Actually, I think it's a feature, probably not a bug, of most left-wing schools at this point. And two, the effects of unmitigated mass migration. Not going to sugarcoat it at all. The mass migration is not rearing its ugly head yet. Financially, it is here in America, but it is in Europe. There is a very, very clear problem. We need to know our southern border is wide open, and record numbers of people on the terrorist watch list are pouring into the country. But the direct effect of this has not hit us yet. But when it does, mark my words, you're going to have every unarmed liberal in America going to be crying over their latte, hyperventilating from their yoga mat. Why didn't you warn us? Every conservative is going to tell them the same thing. We tried, and elections have consequences. And now you have 20 million additional people inside our country, most of which you know nothing about. You warned them, I warned them. Hell, Europe is warning us right now. And the left still won't listen. You remember that Syrian refugee crisis back in 2015? How'd that play out for Europe? In Sweden, this happened. Rapes skyrocketed. Oh, if only we had seen this coming. You did, and you didn't listen. The Daily Wire published this in 2015, saying, quote, "Unfortunately, stories like these are becoming the norm in Europe. Since Sweden allowed for mass Muslim immigration in the 1970s, violent crime increased by over 300% and rapes by 1,472%. Statistically, 1 in 4 women will be raped in Sweden." Folks, these are the statistics, and they're the same in Norway and Denmark. I'm not saying this. Statistics are saying this. You need more proof? The EU Times noted, quote, "The study, which was published online on February 22nd, looked at a total of 3,039 convicted rapists and found that 59.3% of the convicts came from migrant backgrounds, first and second generation migrants, most of which were from Syria." This is numerical data, folks. Breitbart has followed this extremely closely, noting that the majority of sexual assaults in Sweden were, in fact, migrants. In fact, look right there. 9 out of 10 gang rapists were of foreign origins, not born in Sweden. This mass migration resulted in a fundamental cultural change. What did the mainstream media do? They called Breitbart racist. Think about that. And these terrorists, they laugh at us. They laugh at us. They use our own youth as useful idiots to push their own agenda. Now it's becoming policy. This Hamas leader, who is wanted by Israel, you can see it right there on your screen, he's living off the British taxpayer dime in public housing, happy as a clam, wanted terrorist, leading a terrorist organization. I mean, are you kidding me? We do nothing. This same thing is happening in America, too. Oh, you don't believe? No, seriously. Tell me who right now our taxpayer dollars are housing. What are their intentions? You can't tell me. And these radicals are counting on our naivete. Everywhere these fundamentalists take over has resulted in less rights, less freedom, less prosperity. Iran, in the 1970s, women could wear bathing suits in public. No problem. It was just like any other Western place. Now you do that? Check this out. This woman got, actually 28, got 80 lashings for drinking alcohol. Think about that. Tell me one Muslim nation that leads the field on women's rights that the left loves to champion. Gay rights, left loves to champion that. Anybody? No takers? How about one that's even close to as prosperous as the United States of America? None? Weird. What about scientific advancements, medical breakthroughs, technological breakthroughs, general innovation, whatever, pick one. Which one of them is beating the United States of America? Yet these people rally and block traffic and are willing to get arrested to protest for them. Left is marching literally headfirst into everything that they say must be given as a right. They'll take it away. I know some left-wing rag is going to try to pass this up as me making this stuff up, and they're going to end up calling me a bunch of things that end in "ist" at the very end. I don't really care either. I'm not making any of this up. You saw the headlines. It's well documented. I'm warning you. The dangers of these types of migration policies and acceptance from these terrorists is huge swaths of America are now cheering for this. It'll be a massive change of our culture. Americans are just so naive to this stuff, or at least those on the left. Oh, come on in. We'll sing Kumbaya. We'll hold hands. It'll all be fine. No, it won't. It won't be fine. There are a lot of bad people pouring into our countries, especially right now. I mean, not all of them are bad, but a significant portion, enough to be concerned, and we don't learn. But when we do, I worry it might be too late.